Hi, my name's Kim and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the UK. I'm here today to show you this really fun tutorial for a twist and pop fold card. These have been around a little while, but I've only made one recently, so I wanted to do a tutorial today. I'm going to credit Lynn Gosling, who put together this tutorial for the Pinkies, which is the group of Stampin' Up demonstrators I belong to. She did this live in our Facebook group about a month ago, and I really enjoyed it, so I thought I'd film a tutorial. So I've used today the Peony Garden DSP. This is retiring on the 3rd of May. Going to be really sad to see it go, but it's always great to get new papers in. So I just wanted to use it a few more times. You'll see on my blog recently, www.handmadebykim.co.uk. You'll see a few projects that I've made recently with it. I've even made a Christmas card, which was a little bit alternative, but you know, just goes to show versatility of our papers. So right, what I'm going to do is show you all the bits and pieces you need to make this card. So you are going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 11 inches by 5.5, and you're going to need to score and burnish it halfway at 5.5 inches. You are also going to need 3 pieces of cardstock that measure 5.25 by 5.25, and you're also going to need 3 pieces of DSP that measure 5 by 5, so 1 for the front cover and 2 for the inside. So just to bring back my other card, so you need 1 piece here and 1 piece for here and here. Now I have actually added an additional layer on the front, which isn't necessary, but I just wanted to break up the grey granite, so it just popped a little bit more. So I'm going to do the same with the petal pink. And that measures 5 1/8 by 5 1/8, so that's optional. I've pre-stamped in white embossing powder and heat embossed the happy birthday from the sweet ice cream stamp sets, and I've die cut it from the using the Tasteful Labels dies. I've also created 4 panels that are 6 centimetres by 8.5. They're for the inside of the card. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to stick with the black. So I might change that up, but we're going to do a little bit of stamping to decorate that. Okay, so you're also going to need, let me just pop these bits aside. You're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 26 centimetres by 9 centimetres, and also another panel that's 8.5 centimetres, sorry, ignore me, 9 centimetres by 20 centimetres. So what I wanted to mention was that this card is a mixture of 2 measurements. We've got inches and centimetres, which isn't really ideal, but that was how it was taught to me, because I know that there's various shapes, but I really liked the square design. And I didn't really want to play around with it and mess it up, so I was thinking about resizing, but I thought if you're in the UK, we're used to switching from one to the other, so I think that should be okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to score this middle section here, which is the bit that the panels sit on. So we will just grab my trimmer, and because we're in centimetres, we are going to score it at every 6.5 centimetres. So we're going to score at 6.5, 13, just so I don't have to get the get my trimmer arm out. I'm just going to go from the other side at 6.5. However, if you weren't being lazy like me, you would score it at 6.5, 13 and 19.5 centimetres. So what we're going to do is we're going to burnish it. So some people might call these mountain and valley folds, but basically it's going to be folded like a concertina. So what we need to do is fold that one up, that one in, and that one up like that. So you've got an M. And I'm just going to give those a really good burnish. Okay. All right, so we'll put that to one side. Now, this is the complicated bit, so I will take my time and I will show you my drawing afterwards. So this is the bit for the mechanism inside the card. So you're going to need to grab a pencil and a ruler, and you will need your scoring tool as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure. Do actually need to do some scoring, but I'm going to do this first. I'm going to measure 5.5 centimetres from each end on the long side. Okay, and this is the time to be precise. So don't guess it. Don't just take those few extra seconds, because this is all really important to the mechanism. Okay, so we've got that marked out. I'm just going to bring my trimmer back in, and what we're going to do is we're going to score the short side. I have my trimmer a different way to most people. It's just the way it works. So score the short side at 4.5, and then we're going to turn it around. I'm going to score the long side at 10. Okay, so what we have is basically a score line down the middle of each side. So then what we're going to do is take our ruler, and we are going to position the ruler between the opposite pencil marks that you made, and we're going to take our scoring tool and we're just going to score a line. Obviously you can do this with your trimmer if you like. I just prefer the ruler, it's so much easier. And I'm holding this at a funny angle, but if I just line up those two again, the opposite ones, and I'm just going to score again. Okay, so what we're going to do now is burnish all these lines. Now I don't think you need to do them both ways, but I just want the mechanism to work as well as possible, so I just do that. I don't see the harm in it. I also think that for both these pieces, it really is worth them being the same colour. It's not 100% essential, but I think it looks better if they're the same colour. Okay, so we're just going to do this last diagonal one, and then I'm going to show you what you need to do. And this is the bit where you need to pay attention, because this is where I went wrong yesterday. So and then we're going to put the card together. So holding it like this, you're going to fold in these pieces. Okay, so it looks like a little house. And I'm just going to again burnish. Just think it's again going to help it along the way. So it looks like a little house. Got the whole piece here, no gap in the middle. But what we're going to do now is fold one piece like that, and then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to fold the other piece like that. So now you can see there's a gap in the middle, and again I'm just going to burnish that really well. And this is going to be our mechanism. Looks really complicated, but trust me, it's not. Now, one of the girls in the group had a great idea, and I've been doing it. I haven't tried it without, so I don't know whether I don't really know if you have to, but I don't see why not. So what we just did is cut just the top off that pointy bit there. Okay, right, I'm just going to put that to one side, and I'm going to assemble all the layers aside from the stamping and just pop that all together. Okay, so I've just stuck the layers on, and I'm just going to stick the happy birthday on the front. And that's the front done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to stick this piece in. So yesterday I I'll show you what I did. I stuck it in like this. I forgot to turn it round, so there was a gap in the middle, and I was looking at it thinking this isn't right. So don't do what I did. Make sure, so you get this piece again, make sure there's that gap. That's really key. And we're going to stick it here. So what we need to do is just measure halfway. Of course you can eyeball it, but why not just make sure it's exact. So you just want 2 3/4 inch. Then what you're going to do is apply Tombow to this top bit here. You can use red tape or double-sided tape, whatever you choose, but I think Tombow's fine. So you just want to have that piece positioned there, and hold that in place, and then you want to do exactly the same to this piece here, and just bring this down on top. So you're just going to hold that in place for a few minutes, make sure it's secure. I'm just going to pause the video, and I'm going to find something heavy just to put on the top. I'm just going to grab my scraps basket. I'll show you this in a minute, and I'm just going to plonk that on top just for a minute while it sets. Okay, so I've given it a few minutes to dry. Just wanted to show you this really quickly. This is my scraps paper storage. It's a fridge bin, so basically you can store things in your fridge and just pull it out really easily, but I've converted it into the best paper scrap storage ever. Just going to put that away. I'm not going to take over the video with it, but basically I've tried many solutions in the past, and that one is working really well for me. It's just so quick and easy. I have it on my desk next to my die cutting machine, and I can just whip bits out just to die cut really quickly and put it away. Right, so we have let that dry. So that is now the mechanism. You can see how that folds in and out. And then what we're going to do is put this bit in place. But first of all, before we do that, we are going to do some stamping. So I'm just going to put this to one side and grab the these bits. Okay, so I've had a quick change of plan, and I've just turned over the cardstock here. Where is it? That says happy birthday. I think I'm just going to go with the petal peach rather than use the black. I've got the sweet ice cream stamp set for the happy birthday sentiment. That is actually carrying over from the mini into the new annual catalogue, so that is a good one to have, even if it's just for the sentiments. I mean, I think they're really good. I haven't actually stamped the ice cream yeah, I need to do that, but I really do like some of these fonts. So hopefully this will go to plan. So I'm just going to ink up half of the stamp. Got to be careful. This is where I kind of go wrong sometimes. I get a little bit too keen, and I'm just going to, hopefully this will work. Okay, so we've got happy. It's not quite how I wanted it to be. Let me just grab my stamp scrub, give that a good clean. I'll just quickly stamp it off on my paper, and then I'm just going to ink up the birthday. I know you can use masking tape and stuff, but I couldn't really be bothered to do that today. So I'm just going to stamp birthday and hope that none of the happy shows, which is great. Okay, hopefully, looks a bit bobbly, but hopefully that will settle down. So what we're going to do is take the prize peony stamp set. Let me just show you that one in case you haven't seen it. So this one has been around for almost a year. It was in the annual catalogue. I haven't use this stamp much, so I'm going to use that one today. It is a really good one, but it is carrying over, so that's some good news. The papers aren't, so the papers that I've showed you today aren't carrying over, but the stamp set will be. So I've got the large flower, the small flower, and the medium flower, and we're just going to do some stamping just to mimic the other card. So I'm just going to keep it all in monochrome, which means basically two colours, usually white and another one. You can decorate yours how you like. You can colour it in with Stampin' Blends. So I'm just going to stamp off the paper here for that side of the banner, if that's what you want to call it. And then I'm just going to ink up the whole stamp, even though I'm not using it. You just don't know when. You don't want to have a bit of patchy ink, so you might as well ink the whole thing up. And then I'm going to use the other side. I'm going to get a bit of the stem in, a little bit of space at the top. Okay, so it's the same stamp, but a very different look, so you wouldn't necessarily think it's the same one. So that's all we're going to need for that one. Then I'm going to take the large flower. I did try this yesterday and it did work, so let's hope I don't have any problems today. Ink that up really well, and I'm going to put these two pieces together and stamp like that. Yes, and then push them back together again, and then do the top. Okay, and then the little one, I'm just going to do all four corners. See, this is very basic design, so obviously this whole tutorial is just to show you the mechanism, but I just thought let's do some stamping while we're here. Let's pop that petal pink away. So now we have the four pieces. I'm going to bring back in this piece and we're just going to stick them into place. Just grab my Tombow. I think this will blend, you'll see how this will blend in with the DSP I've chosen as well. I do like this monochrome limited colour look. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think we all have our own style, and this very much reflects me. It's what I like, and that's what we all do this for. We do craft to make ourselves happy. So whatever colours you use, whether they're bright, subtle, or even the regals, it's okay. It's what makes you happy, but this is what makes me happy. I love the subtles and I love lots of white space. So we're going to bring this back in, and this is going to go like that, so you can now see how this works with this bit of paper. So one of the things Lynn mentioned in her tutorial was that you don't need this central score line. I believe what she was saying was some people don't put it in, but she finds it easier, and I totally agree with her, because this is how you're going to line up the centre. So you don't actually, it doesn't fold anywhere because it's in position. You can see the middle one and these diagonals are really important, but actually it's really going to help because we're going to make sure our centerpiece goes like that. So you're going to line it up, make sure there's no overlap. So I'm just making sure, actually, let's bring that down a little bit. I don't want the mechanism, I don't want it to come be on show, so I'm just going to fold that forward. So this is another bit to pay attention. So we're going to fold this forward, and we're going to glue this panel here, only this top piece. And this is why I didn't want to muck about with the dimensions and convert this bit into inches, because this works. So why change something that works? So apologies to any of you in other markets and other areas of the world where you don't use centimetres. But hopefully you might have a ruler that has one. That would be useful. So let's bit of Tombow here, and we're just going to press this down and hold that down. Okay, and then we're going to do almost the same on the other side, but we're going to use the opposite. We're going to take the bottom piece and just add a bit of Tombow. It's not coming out very well. Just opened a new one. And we're going to fold that down and hold that in place. So we really need this to be in place just for a few minutes before we start mucking around with the mechanism. It doesn't take too long. Yeah, so I hope you're enjoying the tutorial so far. I think this is a really lovely card. If you haven't done one before, please give it a go. Let me know in the comments what you think, whether you've enjoyed it. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't do videos that often, but when I get some time, I like to do some fancy folds and just show a combination of different techniques. But over on my blog, I do release regular projects on there, so do check it out, www.handmadebykim.co.uk. I take part in lots of blog hops and lots of creative challenges. So there's lots of inspiration, not just from myself, but from other paper crafters and Stampin' Up demonstrators as well. Okay, right, so that should be enough. So this bit, you've just got to do this once. You've just got to encourage it a little bit. So when you fold it, you just want to encourage it the first time and then squish it down. And then it's just going to open really easily. You don't need to do that again once you've done it the first time. So you just kind of want to pull up this little section here, let the folds come into play, and it will just turn. It's incredible, really. Whoever designed this did a absolutely fantastic job. It baffles me how people come up with these ideas. It really does. So I hope you like this tutorial. So we've got the two different versions in grey granite and petal pink, both from the Peony Garden DSP, which is retiring very soon, so get your hands on it if you haven't already. So we've got a similar design. This one's slightly different because I was covering up some of the text I didn't like. And you know, if you don't want to write on the front, you can always put a piece on the back. I've got another tutorial that I think is going to come out just before this one, and I've got the space to write on the back of the cards. Don't always feel you've got to write on the front. The back is absolutely fine. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Do remember to subscribe, and if you like the tutorial, do give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much.